What is up everyone, welcome to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate video. In today's video, I'm going to finally be doing a matchup chart for Kazuya. I think it's been long enough and I've had enough of experience to actually do like a characterization of every single matchup in the game. I'm going to be kind of going through this pretty quickly because obviously I don't really want to make this like an hour-long video. I'm going to keep it down as short as possible. I'm not going to go in-depth on each of the matchups. I'm just going to give my basic thoughts to each specific matchup. As you can see, the tiers, you have +2, +1, even, -1, and impossible. I'm going to go ahead and say that there's going to be a lot of -1s and there's going to be a lot of evens. There's a few characters, like, we'll go ahead and start with one matchup that I say is impossible. Min is impossible for Kazuya. If you're a Kazuya player and say you go up against like someone like Proto Ban or any other top Min player, you're just gonna lose. There's no way to get in. Laser can be reflected. Your laser can be dodged. There's zero advantage you have in this matchup, which is and you're just gonna die. I mean, the few times that I've won against Min-Mins, it's just because they were bad Min-Mins and they just decided to approach. Other than that, there's no reason that Min-Min should ever lose. Another matchup that's impossible is Pikachu. A good Pikachu should just camp you out with Thunder Jolt. There's literally zero thing that Kazuya can do against Thunder Jolt. The only time Kazuya can ever get in is if Pikachu decides to approach himself, and even then he has his back air which can just space you out. And since Pikachu can edge guard you, you just kind of die off stage. I mean, there's nothing you can really do. Once Pikachu gets you off stage, Pikachu can combo you. These two matchups are probably the worst matchups. I've seen a lot of Kazuyas put Sonic in impossible or like -2. I'm gonna put Sonic in -1. I think Sonic is more doable than the other two characters here, just because he has to approach. He is fast and he's going to combo you and he's going to be able to dodge a lot of your attacks, but since he does have to approach, if you can master the matchup and understand the timings and the opponents that you're playing against, you'll actually be able to land some of your combos and hit Sonic, which is what you need to do in the certain matchups. I'm going to say that Steve I won't put impossible just because Steve has to approach as well. But Steve is also one of the worst matchups in the game for Kazuya, just because of the fact that he can camp you out really easily, he can combo, he can kill you really early. He basically does everything that these characters do, except he probably camps you a little bit better than Sonic. So I'd probably say that Steve is probably one of the worst matchups, more than Sonic. But I would still say that it's -1, just because of the fact that he has to approach you. Game & Watch is another -1. I think that Game & Watch, he just spaces you out. The only time you'll ever lose to it, or you'll ever beat a Game & Watch, or you'll be beating Game & Watches, is if they mess up. It's all on them to mess up and then you to punish that mistake. If they don't make any mistakes, there's not really much that you can do as Kazuya. I think Sephiroth is another -1. He's one of those characters that can just stuff you out with his super long sword. He's able to do certain things that other swordies can't, like space you out where you can't electric, which is why you'll see some of the other swordies that I put on the list, I'll put in either even or +1, just because of the fact that Kazuya, they have to approach and their swords are not as long as Kazuya's electric punish range. So for example, Roy, I'll put in +1 for Kazuya. I actually think this is one of Kazuya's best high tier matchups is against Roy. A lot of sets lately you've seen between Riddles and Cola, you've seen Riddles winning most of them, just because of the fact that Cola has to approach as Roy, and a lot of Roy's, especially when you're playing offline, parry becomes a really good option against Roy, and parry becomes even more volatile on Kazuya, who can electric you out of shield, out of parry, out of all of these hit stuns. It just becomes really hard for Roy to do much. Another character that I put in -1 is Samus and Dark Samus. Obviously, both of these characters are really hard to play against as Kazuya. They space you out. They have more moves to get you out, to keep you away from them. Zair is a really good tool. Charge Shot. It basically negates your whole ground game. There's another, like I just said, if you guys haven't watched, I made a video a few days ago talking about Incineroar, and I'll say, with my current knowledge of and how I've played Incineroar, I actually think that this matchup is even. A lot of people, I said in the video that it might be -1 for Kazuya, but I think more thinking about it now, you just have to play really well against Incineroar, but Incineroar has so many things that he can do against you that make it so that you really can't do much in this matchup. I think this is a really one of Kazuya's most even matchups and can go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if you see somebody put it in either -1 or +1. Diddy Kong, I want to put him in Impossible just because he's basically Pikachu 2.0, except for the fact that he doesn't have as an item as or a projectile as good as Thunder Jolt. But Banana plus Peanuts plus Side B to just run around and camp you, circle camp you the whole time, makes me put him in Impossible just because he's really hard to hit. The only real thing you have going for Kazuya is that he could sometimes edge guard his barrels, but a good Diddy Kong will know how to avoid those situations and will be able to get out of them pretty easily. Next up, Banjo Kazooie. Banjo Kazooie is probably an even matchup, if not +1 for Kazuya. Banjo Kazooie, he's able to camp you with Bomb, but it's not as good of a camp, and if he messes up his side B, it can lead to a huge punish for Kazuya. Other than that, he doesn't really have a great out of shield option, which means Kazuya can pretty much pressure his shield for free. It makes it a really volatile match either way, unless the Banjo is really just hard camping you. I would say Kazuya wins most of the time, but I'll put him in even just because he can camp you out with that. I actually think that Kazuya loses to DDD. I think it's a -1. You'll hardly ever see anybody put DDD in -1, but I think Kazuya actually loses to DDD. The problem is that even when you reflect, Kazuya's reflector is slow, and even when you reflect King DDD's Gordo, he can just swallow it back up and shoot it back at you. Most of his moves, like fair and back air, actually outrange electric, and he can just kind of throw the Gordo the whole time, and you really can't do much to punish that. He has great juggling tools with up tilt and up air, and his swallow is really good against Kazuya, especially since Kazuya has to approach from the ground most of the time, and since his air mobility isn't good, he can't really dodge swallow a lot, so you can get really high confirmed kills like swallow, buffer, up tilt to basically kill confirm at really high percents. To make that matchup really hard. So I actually think that King DDD wins this matchup most of the time. Luigi also -1. He's a really heavy. He stuffs out your ground game with both Fireball and with the Plunger, which you see a lot of people do just to space out, which spaces out Kazuya pretty well. And he combos you, which is also really bad. I'll put my first character in +2, Donkey Kong. Obviously he's heavy. He gets absolutely destroyed by Kazuya. He's one of the characters you can do the infinite on. I'll say the same for Bowser, and honestly I want to say the same for K Rool, except for the fact I'll put him in +1 just because he has super armor, which means a lot of times your combos can get messed up or he can super armor them through. And I think King K. Rool is one of the more underrated characters in Ultimate just because of the fact that he is faster than a lot of these other heavy characters. Like some of the characters like Ganondorf, they're just not going to be fast enough to keep up with even a slow character like Kazuya. Someone like Captain Falcon, I think it's even. Captain Falcon can explode you really quickly. He can get you off stage and combo you really hard. His movement is also really hard to deal with. Like dash dancing is really hard for Kazuya to deal with, especially if you're not a confident Kazuya, or if you miss one electric, you're gonna get comboed a lot, and that's really bad for Kazuya. I'm gonna put Ness. I want to put him in Impossible, but I've seen a lot of Kazuyas find ways to deal with him. I just think that's a personal struggle for me is Ness, so I'm going to put him at -1. I'm going to put him in the same tier as, let's see, I'm going to put him in the same tier as Lucas. I don't even know if Lucas is on here. Lucas might not just be on here. I might have forgotten about him. Oh, here he is. I'm going to put both of the PKs in -1. I think Ness is better than Lucas, but I think Ness can be dealt with from the air. Lucas cannot, just because of the simple fact that Lucas can do airborne PK fire, which stuffs out a lot of approaches, and Lucas has a lot more movement options that can deal with Kazuya. I still think both of them beat Kazuya. I think Ness might beat Kazuya a little harder just because of the grounded PK fire can stuff out your ground approach, and he's a lot smaller, and they use side magnet a lot more to like mess up your combos. But I think both of these matchups are pretty hard for Kazuya. Same for Mario. He kind of does the same thing. He just juggles you. He can camp you with Fireball. He's small. He has crazy back air. The only really way you're going to win this matchup as Kazuya is to electric whenever he whiffs the back air. Other than that, there's not really a great approach for Kazuya to do. I'm going to say that Lucina and Marth are both even, if not winning, for Kazuya. They're similar to Roy in the sense that you can punish a lot of their approach options that they have. The problem is that once you get to higher level Marths and Lucinas, they know how to space their aerials correctly. Since they have longer swords than Roy, it becomes to where you cannot punish them with electric, which makes the matchup more even, and then they edge guard you, which is obviously why it's not +1. If they didn't have the edge guarding capabilities they did, it would probably be +1 for Kazuya, because I do think this matchup is a little volatile. Jigglypuff, I'll put at +1. I'm hesitant to put it at +1 because, as you know, Jigglypuff, once you get her off, or once she gets you off stage as Kazuya, you're just kind of gonna die. You don't have a great recovery option, but Kazuya can mix up his recovery, and Jigglypuff just kind of explodes. I'm pretty sure electric into a B can kill at like 60%. So that's like 2 hits basically, and she just explodes. She dies to everything that Kazuya has, which is why the matchup is pretty bad for Kazuya. Cloud is another person I think Kazuya loses to. Cloud is really underrated. I think he's probably top 15 in the game, easily, if not top 10. His sword is basically Sephiroth's sword, but just like a teeny bit shorter, and he has a projectile that's harder to deal with, which means your ground approach is going to be stuffed out a lot. Yes, you can reflect it, which means this matchup isn't completely terrible, but the fact that he can forward air from the air and back air to just stuff you out the whole game means that this matchup is pretty bad. A character like Fox, I have a hard time putting him in even. I feel like I want to put him in even, but I feel like I just haven't faced any crazy Foxes. I feel like he kind of overwhelms Kazuya, but the fact that you can kind of kill him really early. Same with Falco, since they're both light characters. I want to put them in even because I'm hesitant to put so many characters in -1, but I do kind of feel that it is a -1 matchup. I just don't know what you can really do against a good Spacey. I'm gonna keep him even for now, but I could definitely see them being -1. Wolf is probably -1, another -1 matchup for Kazuya. Mii Sword Fighter, I'll say it's +1, just because Mii Sword Fighter is forced to approach. I want to say, actually, I'm going to put him in even, just because the different Mii Sword Fighter movesets, like you got like Chakram and Tornado, kind of stuff Kazuya out, but that Reflected Tornado can lead into up B, which is a kill confirm. Gunner is also even. Actually, I'm going to put a Sword Fighter in +1. I'm going to put Gunner in even, and I'm going to put, if I can find, I don't know if they have Brawler on here, but I think Brawler is, Brawler's actually -1. Brawler is really underrated. His Nair is too fast for you to electric combo, punish on shield. Everything is just mobility is crazy for you. You just don't. You're basically outclassed by a faster version of like a Mario almost, which is why it's a similar matchup comparable to Mario, I would say. PT is one of the characters that soundly beats Kazuya. It's not to the point where it's an impossible matchup like any of the characters in Impossible are, but I think that PT is he just soundly beats Kazuya in every factor. There's not really much that Kazuya can do against PT. Little Mac is a +2 matchup. Kazuya destroys Little Mac. The only time that you'll ever have to worry about a Little Mac is if the Little Mac is really aggressive, but even then you'll just need to learn how to parry. Against Bayo, I want to put Bayo at even, because Kazuya kind of blows up to Bayo. You get comboed a lot. The problem with Bayo is that Bayo struggles to find a kill against Kazuya because he's a heavy character, but he's mobile, which means that all of the kills that Bayonetta will be fishing for normally won't always kill on Kazuya, especially like off the top combos and back air. You'll survive it a lot longer than a lot of other characters will, and you can kind of blow her up. The only problem for Kazuya is that a lot of his electric combos can be witch timed, and they can also be bats within, which is her special air dodge, which allows her to just get out of most of your combos. So you're going to end up doing a lot of reads that you'll have to go for, but this matchup is probably even. It's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. Inkling is an interesting matchup that I haven't played a lot of, but I'm going to say that it's probably even just because of the fact that Inkling doesn't have a reliable projectile to camp you out. She's going to have to approach, and she's pretty light, which means she'll die pretty early. The only fact is that a lot of times Inklings like to take you to like stages that have platforms like Battlefield and stuff, and Kazuya can do certain combos on there, but it's not his best stage ever. That's the only thing about this matchup. Snake is definitely a losing matchup. I mean, it's pretty understandable why Snake is a losing matchup. You're just going to get projectile spammed against a good Snake. Any approach you do can get punished by grenades or dash attack. There's really nothing that you could do. Rob is sort of the same thing, just gyro plus laser plus approaching Nair is just stuffing you out. Another top tier matchup that Kazuya actually wins is Palutena. Apollo's a really weird matchup for Kazuya, and the fact that Kazuya wins this matchup may surprise some people. But Apollo's, all of her aerials come right in the range of the electric punish window, which means all of her aerials, including nair, forward air, back air, or maybe not back air because back air is broken, but forward air on parry can't be punished by Kazuya's electric, which means your combos will work. Palutena is relatively light, and her projectiles do not stuff you out too much compared to some of the characters lower down here. Kazuya wins +1 against both of the pits. I would say the harder matchup is Dark Pit, just because he has the faster arrow. But other than that, Kazuya, they have to approach with their nairs. They're in the same boat as Palutena. Their nair and their forward air both are punishable by electric on shield, which means these matchups are doable. A matchup like Mewtwo is actually pretty even for Kazuya, just because of the fact that Shadow Ball sort of functions the same way as Dark Samus and Samus's Charge Shot. Both of these characters, just like Mewtwo, use it as a stuffing option, and since Kazuya's approach is ground, against a good Mewtwo, they're going to use Shadow Ball to kind of control the stage of the game, and the fact that it's faster than Charge Shot and can combo. The only good thing that we have going against Mewtwo is that Mewtwo is a light character, and the tail hitbox means that electric punishes are going to be even more deadly. Next up, Terry. I'm going to say Terry. I want to say that Terry loses to Kazuya, just because of the fact that he's in the same boat as Ken. I would say Ken and Terry are both +1, just because they both have to approach Kazuya, which is the thing that you do not want to do against Kazuya. And since they're both Shotos, they have decent projectiles to camp out Kazuya, but they do not have what Ryu has, which actually makes this matchup, I'm going to say, -1. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can one move change, or one whole design go from a +1 to a -1? Well, I'll tell you, Ryu's Hadoken, the fire version of it, the special version of it, is so good against Kazuya that it makes the matchup completely different than going against somebody like Ken or Terry, just because of the fact that it becomes such a good camping option. It becomes a combo tool, a stuffing tool. It stuffs your ground game. It just makes Kazuya basically unable to do anything against somebody who knows how to control the speed and the size of it and how far it goes. It just becomes really hard. A character like Shulk is a really weird character to me, because obviously against Kazuya you would think that you would put him in a -1, but I've never played against a good Shulk, so I don't really know. I'm just gonna put him in -1 just because, you know, I know that he's supposed to be -1. I think he is supposed to be -1. Simon and Richter are really stupid characters, because I just think they're stupid. I don't really know where to rate them, just because of the fact that I don't think they're good characters. But I also don't think that they have a bad time against Kazuya, because he just kind of gets camped out. So I'm actually going to put them in -1. I know that a lot of people are going to be like surprised, because I'm look at this, so far on my tier list, I have more characters in -1 than I do in even or +1, like winning for Kazuya. I'm going to go ahead and put Sora. I'm actually going to put Sora Impossible. Yeah, this is my own personal opinion. I know a lot of people won't agree on it, but I think Sora is super broken against Kazuya. You kind of get shut down by every single one of his spells. You can't really get off ledge if he knows how to edge guard correctly. The nairs are done at a range where he can hit you, but you cannot punish him with electric or any one of your moves, which makes this matchup even more harder. When you get trapped in the ice, since you're a heavy, he can deal a lot of damage to you. Even if you mash out quick, he has good Soras will have confirms out of it. All of the Sora confirms, like nair into F smash or nair 1 into up smash, down throw, up smash, all kill Kazuya because he's a heavy and he falls right into them. There's just really nothing Kazuya can do against a good Sora. If he spaces everything properly, this is another one of those impossible matchups. Wario, I actually think Wario loses to Kazuya. He's another one of those top tiers that I think loses to Kazuya, just because of the fact that Wario has to approach with nair to win the game. Even if he wants to get that one combo with the waft, he has to approach with nair, which is easily punishable. Joker is another -1 matchup. He just outspaces Kazuya. Once Arsene comes, he just kind of destroys you. His projectile's crazy. Back air is unpunishable on shield. All of his combos hit you because you're heavy. He can do down throw back air at 70% and it kills you. Joker's just another one of those top tiers that's just -1. There's nothing you can really do. Pyramithra as a character, I think that probably they win the matchup, I think, just because Pyra is so fast. If it was Mithra individually, I think Mithra beats Kazuya,
Pyra probably loses to Kazuya, but obviously they could just stay Mithra the whole time and just spam. So yeah, I think this is a pretty -1 matchup. I could see somebody saying it's even, but I still think it's -1. ZSS is also -1. You just get camped to oblivion. Zera is really good against Kazuya. Zelda is another -1. As you can see, what I've been saying throughout the whole time I've been playing Kazuya, Kazuya has so many random matchups, like for instance that you would never think he loses, like Diddy, Lucas, Zelda, Ryu, that he just loses. I mean, he just loses those matchups. He loses against the Links. I don't even know if I could say that there's a single Link that he beats on here. Like Pichu, I think that Kazuya is even with. I actually think this is even. Because she has Pichu has the similar aspects as Pikachu. It just hurts her more, or hurts Pichu more, to actually camp you with Thunder Jolt. And Pichu is a lot lighter than Pikachu, so you can kind of blow Pichu up with like literally one mistake. That's the only reason it's even. I could see you putting Pichu in -1 as well. Against Robin, I haven't played like a lot of Robins, but I'm assuming it's even. Against a good Robin, I could see it -1, but I just haven't played against many Robins to actually know that. Rosa, easy -1, same thing as all these other characters. Disjoints make Kazuya a really hard character to play, just because of the fact that you're dealing with multiple people, or you're dealing with multiple hitboxes with Kazuya, which he's not good at. Peach, I want to put at -1 just because I really don't like playing against Peach. Float kind of makes Electric really hard to deal with, and she can combo Kazuya a lot. I could see you putting it at even. I'm going to put her at -1 just because I don't like fighting her. Yoshi's a -1 just because of the fact that his double jump can get him out of a lot of electric combos, which means that you're not going to be able to actually do them as well as you would before. Young Link is another -1. Young Link is one of the more obvious, I would say, -1s. Out of all of the Links, I think he does the worst with Young Link, just because a Fire Arrow is just such an oppressive option that you really cannot deal with. I mean, there's really no, there's no way that Kazuya can get through the barrage of Fire Arrows plus Boomerang plus Bomb, Nair spam combos that Toon Link does against a good Toon Link. Kazuya should never win. I could understand you saying that I could definitely understand you saying that you know, you felt like Toon Link is one of the weaker Links, but I think now, based on where we are currently in the meta, I think that Kazuya, I think that this is probably accurate. I could see, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna put Falco in +1. I think Falco actually loses more than Fox does for some reason, now that I'm thinking about it. Other than that, I could see, I think I'm gonna move Peach to Peach to even. I think those are the only things. Piranha Plant, I would say it's a +2 matchup. I'll actually put in +1 just because he has projectiles. Kirby is a +1. Lucario's +1. Actually, I'm gonna put Lucario in +2 because he just kind of gets blown up. Meta Knight, I'm gonna put in +1. Sheik, I'll put him in even just because Sheik struggles to kill against Kazuya. Sheik has everything that you would need against Kazuya except kill power, which is probably where he struggles the most. Daisy, even obviously. Link, I'm gonna put in. I really want to put Link in +1, which is where I'm gonna put him. I think Kazuya actually does beat Link. Link is the only person that I think Kazuya actually beats. Other than that, I don't think he beats Mega Man. I'm gonna put him in +1 actually because I think Kazuya loses that. Pac-Man, I'm actually gonna put in even. The reason is because Pac's Hydrant can be reflected and laser can go through the Hydrant, unlike Steve's blocks, which means that you can pressure from the opposite side of the Hydrant and force him to shield, while also doing damage to the Hydrant. A lot of Kazuya's moves, like Reflector, instant kill the Hydrant, which is really good, and Pac-Man can't up B out of your combos, but you can also punish that FB. It's probably in -1, but I'm more optimistic about the Pac-Man matchup, so I'm going to put it in even. Toon Link, I'm going to put in +1. I'll say that we beat Toon Link just because Toon Link doesn't have as good arrows, and neither does Link, which is the main reason that we lose to Toon Link. But Bomb and Boomerang are still really oppressive. Olimar is probably -1. You just kind of get camped with Olimar, and Olimar can whistle through some electric combos if they time it right. Villager is even. I want to say Villager's not very good, but obviously Villager's whole game plan revolves around camping you. Isabelle is +1, even though she's just worse Villager. She's just not good enough to have like a lot of winning matchups. Ridley is +1. We beat Ridley. Hero, I'll actually say Hero is even. I struggle a lot versus Hero just because of side B and Fireball, but when Hero does have to approach, it's hard. Corrin is also really hard, I feel like, just because she has a lot of range. Bowser Jr., I would say we probably win. Byleth is a hard matchup, but I would say we win just because of the fact that, actually I'll put it in even. The Nair is really oppressive against us. Chrom, I would say, is winning. Dr. Mario is winning. Greninja is definitely E-. Greninja is one of those hard characters, just because a lot of people don't play Greninja much anymore, which is really strange, because I think Greninja is really good. But I'm going to put Greninja at even, actually. Let's see who we have left. Ice Climbers, I literally have no clue, but I'm going to say +1, because I don't think we lose to Ice Climbers. Duck Hunt, I actually think we beat Duck Hunt, because I have good experience against a good Duck Hunt player. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that Duck Hunt uses to stuff us out is easily dealt with, except for the fact that he has cans, so I'm going to put him at even. Wii Fit Trainer is definitely an L. Too good at camping to be a W. Ike we beat just because he has to come in to like actually approach us. I think that actually might be it. Yeah, I think that's all the characters. Just make sure I'm not missing any here. We went over all of these characters. So yeah, this is my list. If I had to move some people around out of these people, the only characters that I might move, that I might consider moving, is Corrin. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put Corrin. Let's move a few characters around. I think that Kazuya soundly beats Banjo. I'm gonna put Banjo in -1. I think I'm probably gonna put. Who else should I put? I'm gonna put Yoshi down a tier to even, just because of the fact that there hasn't been a crazy Yoshi. All these characters are pretty solidly beating Kazuya, I'm gonna say. I could see. I'm probably gonna put Incineroar. I want to keep him where he is. I actually think it's even. I'm gonna put +2. These are like the only. Maybe Dark Pit and Pit go down to +2. Probably Isabelle too. Out of even, I could see Robin going to +1. I could see Robin also being where he is now. Obviously, these are not like super specific and these are not ordered, but I think this is good for where I feel Kazuya is right now. Obviously, I've been super pessimistic. I would say I'm optimistic about all of the characters in even, right? Like Corrin, I'll drop down to +1. Same with any of these characters like Lucina. I'll probably drop Villager to +1 just because he's not really good. Same with characters like Byleth. I'll drop to +1, and Bayo. I'll drop to +1. Probably even Falcon. I'll definitely drop Falcon +1 actually. But out of these characters, I feel like all of them have something against Kazuya. But I'm not super hesitant to move them. These are all characters that I'm super pessimistic about. I could name one single thing wrong with all of these characters that Kazuya struggles with. Maybe Luigi even. That's the only thing that I would consider moving in this list, and maybe the Belmonts could be lowered a little bit, but all of these other characters I think soundly beat Kazuya for many different reasons, and these 4 characters are who I consider Kazuya's worst matchup in the game. The only character I could consider moving to -1 is Diddy, because I think he's the weakest out of the 3 against Kazuya, but he still has too many things that are good against Kazuya. But this is my character matchup chart for Kazuya. Let me know down in the comments if you play a character that you think beats Kazuya or you think loses to Kazuya. I'll make sure to consider it and let's have a discussion in the comments down below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit longer than usual, but I've been waiting to make this video for a long time. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.